Good morning, I'm Howard Schechter, proprietor of The Perfect Edge, and this is a video about what size stone should I buy? And this is a question I get asked almost every day, and it is of great concern to people because of what they're sharpening and how much they want to spend to sharpen it. So the answer to the question really is, what are you sharpening? So if you're sharpening something very small like a paring knife, you don't need much of a length of stone to begin with. If you're sharpening something like a 9-inch butcher knife, then yeah, you're going to need a longer stone. Is it absolutely necessary? No, it isn't. You can make do, but do you want to really do that on a regular basis? And my answer is no. I like to match the sharpening job to the size of the stone. There are different classes of stones, and the most common stone around the world, and I've checked this out in museums from Sitka, Alaska, where Native American stones, to the museum in Athens, Greece, where they have royal stones, to Lima, Peru, and all those countries. Dublin, Ireland has a great collection of whetstones if you ever go to the museum there. And in Iceland as well, where they pretty much focused on the Viking whetstones. So it depends on what you're sharpening and whether you're going to take the blade to the bench and use a bench stone, or you can use it handheld for more expedient. Myself, I prefer the precision that's available when you take the blade to the bench. So this is my biggest bench stone, and this is a Belgian blue. It's 4 inches by 10 inches. The Belgian blue is my favorite stone. It cuts fast and it polishes smooth. I've even used it to sharpen straight razors, and I have been able to shave off of it, although the shave gets better when you're sharpening on a Belgian caudicle. And this is one of the beautiful Belgian cauticles. This is an 8-inch by 3-inch stone. And this is pretty much what I use on a regular basis. You can get the Belgian stones in many different sizes. And the star of my collection is somewhere around here. Here it is. This is a natural Belgian stone, and it's 2.5 by about 10 inches. It's a natural double stone, and that means that it's blue on one side and it's caudicle yellow on the other side. And this is an amazing stone, as you can see by the style of box it came in. This is what the Belgians sold for boxes 20 years ago. And then they went to another style, but it had a built-in strop, and I really love this stone. It's really the king of my collection. And you very rarely need a stone that long. But just to move along, we have a Belgian blue here in 6 by 2, and a Washita, a really beautiful specimen. Look at the coloring on that. That's an Arkansas stone, bevel setting kind of a stone, fairly gritty, so it'll take steel off quickly. And then I would follow up with something like the blue. And you can get them both in 6 by 2, and they're both just fine to work with. There have been a lot of interest lately in 4-inch by 2-inch stones. Possibly because they're less expensive. The way that stones are often priced is by surface area of whetstone. So this is a 4 by 2, so that's 8 square inches of whetstone. 6 by 2, 12. 8 by 3 is 24 inches, and that's a lot of whetstone surface area, and you can get a lot done with bench stone, which is bigger. other thing I find myself sharpening a lot around here, because we live in the woods, is an axe. And I have a robust axe collection. And axes are usually sharpened with pucks. So this is a puck that I made. It's blue Belgian, and you would wet it, of course, when you're sharpening the axe. And on the other side, I affix DMT 325 grit coarse diamond. So typically axes have nicks in them or a little turn perhaps, and I will take out the nick or the turn with the diamond, then wet the blue, and then polish that up and get a really great axe for either cutting trees or for splitting wood. Very different. The other size stone that is needed, and these were very much used in early America, are scythe stones. I will be doing a video on how to sharpen a scythe stone, a scythe, but you use a rounded stone for it. And they were mined by the Pike Company in New Hampshire until around the turn of the century, when the fabricated refractory stones were being created. But you wet this, and you can see it's got a round configuration, and that's good for all kinds of internal and external curves. So you want to definitely have a round stone for a rounded blade. A scythe is a very gentle arc, and that's what helps it stay stiff and helps it cut. This is a kukri, and the kukri was the weapon of the Gurkhas in Nepal. This is a genuine one from the armory in Kathmandu, and it's a formidable blade, and they need to be kept sharp. They're made out of carbon steel, and they were known by all the enemies of the crown in the 19th century. So the final size stone that you need to consider as having part of your kit are these small stones, which are I use for serrated knives. I use it on various types of machinery. I will use a small triangular one to do these types of auger bits. Some people still prefer to use them by hand. I use them as backup when I'm making maple syrup. In case I run out of battery, I can just drill a hole by hand in a tree. But if you don't use the triangular stone, you won't get close to the lead screw. And you can see sometimes people use them and they get a divot in the cutting edge of the auger bit, which is bad. So there's triangular stones. There are stones which are oval. This is a white Arkansas made by the Norton Company, as is this one, which is a cylindrical stone. And cylindrical stones are sometimes used when doing serrated knives. It depends on the size of the serration. You definitely have to fit the round stone to the size of the serration, otherwise it's going to mess up the blade. So to that end, I have conical stones as well. And these are, I have them both in diamond from DMT, and I have them as India stones from the Norton Company. And I keep them all in a little case, and that's what I go through when I get a serrated knife in to sharpen. You will find all kinds of other types of stones in all kinds of sizes. This is a beautiful charnley forest, and when wet, and it's used wet, has beautiful clouds of purple in it. And you can see that's about, I'd say 2 inches by 10 inch. And this would have been used perhaps by somebody in the scissors making business. They were the stone that was preferred by scissor makers. So that's it as far as what size stone should I buy. And those are some of the factors that you have to think about when you're setting up your kit for sharpening, hopefully on your own sharpening bench. And we'll talk about building a sharpening bench in the next video. Thank you very much. Please feel free to call me if you have any questions, 508-769-7962. You can email or text me. Catch me on Facebook through The Perfect Edge and through the website theperfectedge.com. Thanks very much.